Once you've logged in to Expert and created a new knowledge base, you're ready to start adding items. Items are the species or final genera or items you want to be identified. It's very easy to add a new item like this. You can do a general one. So we have this. Once you go into it, you can change the name, give it another name, and add details. Once you change things, though, you do have to remember to hit update or it won't save. You can change the order in your list with these arrows or delete items. The descriptive model are the features that you're going to use to narrow down your identifications. Again, it's pretty easy to just add new, and you can make it categorical or numerical if you're looking for like sizes, if something is in between a certain size or under a certain size, you can add that. Again, you can change the name, you can weight it for how important the feature is, with 5 being the most important, or will show up on top in your key. And again, you can add details. The other thing that you can do for descriptors is add pictures, and you can have your pictures for the main descriptor heading, or what you'll end up doing is add states or different venations that can be chosen from, and you can actually insert photos for particular states by going over here. So I can have 2 or more cells, and this is an example of just that state. So when my person is choosing features, they'll be able to see an example of each feature. So you can do that for pretty much all of them. And I did the same for antennae. I have a few on the main antenna heading, but then for each of my states, there's an additional picture to help make it clear. Once you've entered your descriptors, to actually set the algorithm for the key to be able to narrow things down based on these descriptors, you go to description. And so in description, for each species or item on your list that you want to be identified, you'll go through and choose which descriptors apply. And you can also do unknown if you don't know for a species what features it would have. And so for some other species, I do know quite a bit more. So we have 4-wing venation, antennal options, metaplural, metasol, and so forth. And so for this random new one that I've just added, I know that it has this, but I also want to be able to continue to identify it if there were no wings, so I have this option chosen as well. For antennae, I happen to know these off the top of my head. Oops. Once you've set that for all of your items, you can go up here and do publish identification. And now I can either download it or go to the URL. And you can see in the URL, here are all of our features, or descriptors rather, that help us narrow down. There we go, sorry. Narrow down. So to start, we could go 4-wing venation, and pretending I have something I'm looking at. You can either choose multiple descriptors from the first step or choose one, hit submit, and it will narrow down based on that, and then you can do the other features. And in some cases, all I need is that. Another thing that you can do is import the SDD. By doing that, you can upload your knowledge base into xper3, which is a downloadable application for your computer. Just be aware when you're importing and exporting data between xper3 and 3 that you might end up with duplicate items and descriptors as artifacts once you switch them over. So you can go back through and just delete out the duplicates if you find you have that problem. I've also had issues with the website trying to add photos to specific states and not being able to click these. In that case, either come back later or I was able to download the SDD and make those changes in xper3. When you're actually entering the photos themselves, it's a little bit tricky. So to add from URL, click this, but then you need a Google Drive URL is probably the easiest. And so you need to have all your photos in a Google Drive. One moment. You need to have all the photos you want in a Google Drive that is public. Anybody with the link can access. What you then need to do to input a photo is open the photo in a new tab. And then this here is the unique identifier for this photo inside of the folder. You want to copy that out. And I have a cheat sheet to help keep things organized, but you want to copy that unique identifier and add it to this Google tag. Oops. And I've copied it, did I? This entire link is what we're going to have. Yeah, and you can edit the photo and put a legend or change the author and title. But this photo doesn't actually go with this descriptor, so I'm going to delete it. Okay. You can do an interactive key and you just want to update it. So here is that key again. Oh, interesting. And so now, if we did that, the password bar. And that's generally how to get started in xper3.